As a young boy, old folks thought I was cool. I did good in school, so mama let me bend the rules. I grew up with an attitude to do just what I choose.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Shooting the Shit. It's everyone's birthday, either tomorrow or the day after or the day after that. So we have 100 people on the show, including my son, who has no etiquette whatsoever. Say hello to the camera, Diego. There you go. So that's my baby, and he'll be trolling around the entire show like that. Uh, I'm Sean Gregoire. We have a special guest before we introduce everyone else. Hello, Drea. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Doing good,
We
doing
are
good.
we are excellent. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're here.
I'm here because I know Bradley. Me and Bradley work together. I worked in news and I also worked in Sumter at Morris College, digital content producer. So anything for the website, anything for social media, that's usually what I do. I also love entertainment. So I'm here to talk definitely about Kanye, DMX, all that good stuff.
Oh, don't ruin our topics. You're gonna ruin the suspense, man. You
Don't
know,
worry.
that's what
I got the entertainment for y'all today. I'm feeling real jiggy today. So
yeah.
don't worry about it. I got your back, Dre.
Kev, how are you, man? Welcome back. Everyone's happy that you're not dead.
Yeah,
COVID did
man.
not keep you
I
down, brother.
survived. I survived. I feel stronger now, faster, more improved, better. If I get COVID again, I think I'm not even gonna feel that shit next time. So
Oh, I hear you. Fantastic. And Brad, how are you, bro?
I'm chilling, waiting to get to Sunday, man.
I
Just
hear
remind
you.
everybody, recording this on Friday, so
Yeah, so everyone is buzzed. Is that's what the code word of that is for, except for me, ironically. So, Brad, you want to introduce our first topic?
our
Oh,
first topic. What is our first? Oh, Kanye
oh,
West.
man, so
Kanye was in our great state of South Carolina over was it Monday or no Sunday night?
Sunday,
Sunday
Sunday,
night.
I didn't go. So I would
He
like
was
to
in
start
Charleston
this.
but didn't go.
I live in Charleston. I saw a couple of local videos from people that were posting that were there, and it's one of those things where, like, in this era, like we love to see a train wreck happen. Recently we've actually had celebrities going. Megan Thee Stallion's been shot. Will and Jada. There's just always something to talk about now, right? And you can't help it, but it was sad. I was very disappointed. I was sad. A lot of emotion of you liking the artist and liking the music, but understanding that there's a human there. And, like, my opinion, just to myself when I saw it, I was like, he needs to get back to making music because that was his vice. That was his way to get his emotion out. And I feel like as of late, you're only in the spotlight now when you're dropping an album anyway. Everybody's entitled to his opinion. I'm not trying to cover that. But, just some of the stuff he's saying, the points he's trying to make, the way you're saying things, I feel like even if he's right in what he's saying, the way you're presenting it is like you would if you were doing your music, but you're talking to people now, right? Those two aren't the same, like we were talking about Dave Chappelle earlier, and, like, when you meet Dave Chappelle, he's not telling jokes. Like, he's got a mind, stuff like that. I just, praying for the man. That there's a lot of emotion. I was very saddened by it. The breakdown and everything. I feel like it's something that he probably needed, but there's a time and a place and a better platform, and I think he needs. I'm not talking about his family, but I think he needs a friend around him to kind of get him grounded again. You know what I'm saying? Like, all too often you see celebs, they get a certain amount of power and nobody can tell them nothing because what are you going to tell that person? What are you going to tell Kanye West anyway? But, like, looking back, he needs a sway woman. He needs a sway to kind of sit him down and kind of question him and be like, hey, you good, man? Like, I'm here for you, brother. But, I don't know. Yeah, that's me.
Right. So, Dre, how you feel about it? How you feel about Kanye?
I mean, I'm very sad. I mean, I just have a lot of concerns. I mean, we knew something was wasn't right for a while. Just based off of the rants from the concerts, from all of the other interviews that he's done, where he said things that contradict all the music that we love him for. And it was just sad to see. There wasn't anything, you know, that there was no need to joke. It just was one of those things where it was also very scary in the sense, because not even trying to joke, but it did remind me of Get Out. It was just one of those things where it's like he's like battling with something. And even though everybody else can see it, it's like he can't see it, but then that goes into understanding like different mental disorders and stuff. So I don't know. It's just sad. That's all I can say.
Pat.
Listen, Kanye has crumbled one of the foundations of my life. I'm just gonna be open and confess.
Church.
Kanye was my favorite artist of all time growing up. Loved the music, idolized the man. At one point in my life, battled some of the same mental struggles that he's going through, and possibly still continue to battle them myself. So I saw a lot of myself in Kanye, the narcissism, the unquestioned confidence that he had, the artistic creativity, and I modeled my life after that. It's like if Kanye believes in himself that much, all I gotta do is believe in myself an eighth of what Kanye believes in himself, and my life is gonna be good. I've defended Kanye year after year after year, made every excuse you can make for Kanye. Oh, y'all just don't understand him. You want him to think like the monolithic black think. You want him to be. You want Kanye to make you comfortable with the way you feel, and that's not what he's out here to do. Oh, if you really listen to it, he's really making a lot of sense. He just can't explain himself right. And listen, man, I'm going to tell you the point in time when I really, really said I've had it with Kanye. I let him slide with Donald Trump stuff because I explained that away by saying, hey, Kanye doesn't really know what Donald Trump's politics are, but he sees a lot of himself in Donald Trump. So he fashions himself after Donald Trump. He idolizes Donald Trump. He's going to want to be amongst whatever Donald Trump has going on. And much like Donald Trump, us Ye defenders and all of our blurred wisdom would try to explain what he was saying, even though what he said made absolutely no sense. That's not what he meant. You don't have the right perspective on what he's saying. Blah blah this, blah blah that. Listen, a young rapper, 17-year-old child, young rapper, NLE Choppa, came and brilliantly explained what Kanye, a 40-plus-year-old man, was trying to say. And at that point, I was like, if a child can communicate better than a 44-year-old, where is the problem? NLE Choppa explained the Harriet Tubman thing perfectly. He said probably what Kanye meant to say. And he wasn't speaking for Kanye. He was just rationalizing what he possibly could have been saying. Said what he's saying is that while Harriet Tubman freed us, we still had other societal struggles to overcome that weren't accounted for during the freeing of that process. Not to discount what Harriet Tubman did, but there is a whole separate set of struggles once the black man was actually freed. A 17-year-old child said that. 44-year-old Kanye said Harriet Tubman didn't free any slaves. I don't care what his intent was after that. You're a 44-year-old man that's married. Communication is extremely important. If you can't communicate as well as a 17-year-old child, I don't have no business defending anything you got to do. I don't even know if I'm gonna cop the shoes anymore. That's how upset at Kanye I am. I don't know if I'm gonna go wait in line to cop something to resell. That's just how disgusted with Kanye. Listen, Kanye's my favorite artist. I can pause the show right now and go get my 15-year-old son. Every Kanye song that comes on in my car, I skip that shit. I don't listen to it anymore. I am done with them. I'm almost to the point where I'm just ready to delete it out the library. I'm done with it. It's over.
Wow. All right. Well, congrats.
Anything before 808s and Heartbreaks, I'm still bumping.
I agree.
She can't do it, man. I tried to.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
I tried to do it, man.
There are a couple of tracks. My favorite is My Twisted Dark Fantasy. The whole
Oh yeah, the whole album
was dope. Good Fridays he did.
Listen, we majored
the album.
favorite song.
I mean, and all is cool. Oh, go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say it's clear that he needs some kind of help, but I mean, like his wife said, you can't help somebody that don't want it. But at this point, like I'm semi done with Kanye. I'm still listening to old stuff, but the man needs to do something with his
This
life.
is what I said. Kanye made Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian sympathetic figures because he's just way out there. He made probably the most evil woman in Hollywood. I don't know why she's evil, but people seem to not like her. But he made her a sympathetic figure because whatever they got going on, the shit that Kanye has is way worse. And they invited that into their family to try and do whatever they wanted to do capitalistically with Kanye. And now they're reaping they're reaping whatever they sowed. But he's turned them into sympathetic figures. They're not blood-sucking women who destroy NBA players' careers and have them losing playoff games. They're victims of Kanye's at this point.
All that is questionable.
You gotta do a lot of fucking up to make the Kardashians a sympathetic figure with black people. That's a lot.
It's hilarious.
That's a lot of fucking up on Kanye's part, and I've been done with Kanye the human for some time, if only because books are free. You can be a free thinker. There's a difference between being a free thinker and being uninformed, and there's really no reason to be uninformed when you have a voice that big and that large, and you know you're gonna have millions of people hanging on your every word. It's part of your responsibility to research stuff and to actually do your due diligence before you just say anything out there. And I know that's kind of the opposite of his approach as an artist. He just says stuff, and he's rapping. He can use that plausible deniability. But if he's just going behind, this is what I believe, and these are facts because blah 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 blah. Read something. Like books is free. Google's right there. And just the fact that he's basically spitting out white supremacist friendly viewpoints, either for the shock value or because he actually believes them. Either way, I can't really rock with him, and it's been like that for me for some time. So this is kind of old hat for me. Like even the fake presidential bit, I never really got into. It's just he's been doing this since what, like 2015 now, 2014. Like it's been some time since we've had some semblance of Saint Kanye. So I haven't really. It's just another thing for me. So, yeah. Brad, let's go to the second topic.
We all owe DMX an apology.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we can go there.
I do want to say though, I was on the DMX train until I was convinced to get off, but we all owe X an apology. He hung in with Snoop on Wednesday.
Yeah, he did. He had a lot more. Yeah, much more in the tank than I expected. I will argue that Snoop did not put out his best 20. He just put out 20, which was still incredible. But I didn't know DMX had 20. Like I think last week Kevin counted what, like they say he had 7, but I want to say DMX had a solid 16. That was like, oh, okay. And Snoop had more, obviously, but I want to say Snoop won, I think, but more like like 12-9 as opposed to like the 16-4 that we was like dogging them out for last week. So like good on DMX. It was cool that the younger generation saw him for the first time really, and we got reminded of how great he was and how much he fit into what basically amounted to 5 years. I thought that was dope. Drea?
So basically, I kind of thought that I basically just knew I was going to be shocked by DMX because I don't listen to a lot of DMX. But when I do listen to DMX, I like it. So for me, I ended up giving DMX 12, like he won for me. And I was shocked by that because I really thought that I personally was gonna like Snoop, but it worked the opposite way for me. Um, or maybe I just like rough ratchet music. I don't know.
It could be it.
And Snoop is more chill. I don't know which one it was, but I was like, DMX really has a catalog that a lot of us either forgot about or we just didn't respect at the time. But that
It's
is
been 20 years. It's okay. Yeah. Kev, you good?
So I did not actually. I'm a little, I guess, old for social media purposes. I didn't see the battle. I missed it. But I will give my critique on the musics because I do listen to both. Um, my favorite. I'll start off with Snoop. I love Bato. There's, his stuff with Dr. Dre in the beginning. There's
I
Jenna.
don't even think he played Vato.
There's. I imagine. I bet he played the hits. Like my favorite era of Snoop was honestly when he did his pairings with Pharrell. There was a period where Pharrell got with Jay. He got with everybody. I think it was like late '90s, early 2000s. There was "Beautiful," which was an awesome song for Snoop. Pharrell was on a lot of stuff then. I'm not going to bring him into the conversation. I may start giving him more kudos, but anyway, that's the Snoop Dogg that I like. Like when he was with him, the whole like that's right.
Drop it like it's hot, Kev.
I couldn't think of it off the top, but in terms of X, right? I was a little bit younger when X was like in primetime X, as you would call it, the mid 90s. So like the DMX that I listened to was always like, where's the hood at, and again, I didn't watch, but I would have assumed that Snoop would have probably just, in terms of the amount of music that he's put out over his lifetime, you have so many generations of Snoop that you can go to. I feel like there's just a kind of a period of X. Not knocking him now, right? But just X is like mid 90s, but you can go a lot more across the board in terms with Snoop and like I knew Snoop was going to take that one for sure. So I didn't watch though, but that's just my 2 cents on it.
Pat?
So this is what's happening with DMX. I don't think anyone going into the battle is going to tell you X has terrible music. I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, X doesn't deserve this or that. It's who he was going against and how he was being measured.
Yeah, man.
It was never about DMX having bad music. It was about Snoop having more music, right? So what we have going on with DMX is, I'm going to use a sports reference. It's like Clemson playing Benedict College.
Okay.
And Clemson's supposed to wipe the floor with Benedict College. Benedict College makes it a 3-touchdown game instead of a 10-touchdown game. And you're looking at Benedict like, oh, Benedict, you guys did pretty okay. Versus Clemson, you guys didn't get wiped. That's basically all DMX did, was not get annihilated. He still lost, but he reminded everyone that his music is timeless as well. Myself, I don't think that I actually forgot that. I just thought that Snoop was going to be way more aggressive with the music he played.
He was kind,
I think by the time we got to song 10, Snoop still
was
had
being real
1995,
nice.
1990. Snoop was being courteous to DMX with song selection. He spared DMX and still won. I had it 12-8. If I want to be fair, I could probably do 11-9 because X had a nice little run. I think by the time the 5th song came, I had it like 4-1, and then X went on a nice little run where I was like, okay, yeah, let's go X. And I was getting hyped with him, jumping up, doing his thing. He opened his shirt, and the beer gut was there, and I was vibing with X. And then Snoop just came back, and like I said, I feel like Snoop spared him with the song selection. The song selection is everything here. That was clearly evident when Jadakiss annihilated Fabulous. But song selection is key. And I feel like Snoop spared him, but even when he spared, he still gave him that work. And you gotta believe Swiss Beats wasn't gonna let X go out bad. Swiss was
Yeah,
there. Swiss
I
wasn't
was
gonna let
about
his
to
man get
say.
annihilated on IG or Apple, wherever it was streaming at. So
I feel like everybody there was
I'm
trying to
happy.
take care of
I think
DMX.
Yeah.
everybody won. At the end of the day, that was a really good battle. X made it more competitive than what I thought it would have been. Snoop still won. He didn't embarrass him. So I guess if I gotta take ownership of him not walking the dog didn't walk the dog, then I'll take that. But let's not confuse this. DMX still lost. Snoop still gave him that word.
Yeah, and like before Brad goes, my boy Rennell, who was on our Instagram page talking about, oh, what was y'all saying about DMX losing? Oh, what's this? Oh,
Yeah, I
like
didn't even answer
he
him.
lost, bro. Yeah, like Rennell, he lost. He ain't
Like
get
he
his
didn't get
ass kicked,
smoked. He didn't get smoked. But
but it's still an L, buddy.
L.
Yeah, that's right. Like Big L. And again, we love DMX. We're big DMX fans, but he lost, and it's okay that he lost. Like it's whatever. Like he had a legendary 5 year run that I mean I've never seen in my life, and I don't think anyone else has either. But he lost. I'm sorry, yeah. Brad.
all right, so our next topic: Say Steele, everybody's favorite ESPN personality. So apparently, she went to the Wall Street Journal and basically complained that her black colleagues left her out of the race special that the Undefeated had on ESPN a few weeks ago, and she's not happy about it.
Boy, they were right leaving that ass out. They were so right. I mean, really, she left herself out. She was one of the ones back a couple years ago talking about, yeah, so we should leave the politics out of sports. They're two separate things. Blah 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 blah. It always seemed like she wanted to disassociate herself with the racial aspect of any sports thing. So once that became front and center, guess what, love? You're not invited, and you should not have been invited. You would have ruined everything anyway. You reaped this yourself. This is something you reaped over the course of your entire career. You can't complain about it now that you're losing airtime and money. Like tough break. Like be a decent person next time, and people will want to listen to you. But no one wants to listen to that. Oh, lives matter. But what about my perspective? No one gives a fuck about your perspective. No one wants to hear white supremacist friendly shit right now. Like it's not the time for that. So like, so shit, lady. I
I
don't
don't
give a
even
fuck.
think she's losing airtime and money. It was an Undefeated special. You know, they bring that out the mothballs every now and
Yeah,
then. But
yeah.
then you're complaining, and Stephen A. Smith and Bomani Jones weren't even on it. So why are you upset that you weren't on it?
Like, not shit. I know why. Because nobody wanted on that motherfucker. She didn't know who to tell. Dre, please go. I hate that motherfucker, yo.
I don't have any other comment other than she shouldn't be in it. Sorry, not sorry. That's all I have.
Kev,
I'll I read it and I had to kind of go back, like you say, and go through a history catalog of like what is your, where's your ticker? This side, okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like you say, you have to reap what you sow. It was very Stacey Dashes, if I may. Is that the way to say it?
yeah, yeah.
Your opinion represents which, for white audience members that are watching, this may be something new for you. You may not know amongst the black community. You may know the basics of it, of dark skin versus light skin kind of things. I really got like a kind of privileged, because of, I'm not saying this was her opinion. I'm just saying this is how I perceived it. It really seemed very like narcissist, like very snooty, like the world that she was living in. Like, yo, this had nothing to do with you in the first place, like for you to kind of even interject yourself into a conversation of, like you say, there were other bigger black names out there that weren't also a part of that conversation. Yeah, that's it for me, really. It just seemed very kind of light skinned, kind of like hey, I should be accepted here because of who I am and the way I look type stuff. And I was
Who the
just
fuck
like,
are you?
I like to look at you on ESPN, and I'm sure you have a very valid opinion on it, but you weren't invited on this one. So, like, I'm a little more disgusted that you still tried to make it about yourself. Like there's no. I feel like she would have had a little more flame if there was some type of, hey, I wasn't, like they originally invited me, then I was uninvited for some reason, something like that. But like to just come out of nowhere and say because I wasn't invited to participate at all, I'm being excluded is not, sometimes that's what life is going to be. Period. It doesn't even necessarily mean that was something that nobody wanted to invite you to. So anyway, that's just me.
Mm. Yeah, Pat. So you said something interesting in the chat about her upbringing and where she's from and whatnot. Do you remember that shit? Like she's from
Yeah,
Indiana or something
so
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
Military.
we'll dive into that. First,
please.
before we dive into that, it's a new word. Everybody's using it, and I want to use it here. Black people are not a monolithic group. Okay, you're allowed to have differing views that go away from the foundation of what we consider black people to think.
All right.
God bless Kanye. God love him. If he wants to think that way, cool. Just don't try to represent other black people with your thought. You are
Right.
your own individual. Sage
Right.
Steele, you're more than welcome to have your own thoughts. You're more than welcome to be your own individual. But with that being said, your name is Bennett and you ain't it. All right. It's an A-B conversation, so get the fuck out of here.
That's not how it goes, Pat.
So
It's not
here's
how
my
it goes.
thing. She's upset about being excluded from a conversation that she long excluded herself from years ago. When Kaepernick was kneeling, oh, I'm afraid to talk about this. I'm not excited to talk about. I don't want to talk about this. When black players are protesting or using their platform, oh, we should just keep sports and politics separate and just get back to uniting. You didn't want to be a part of the conversation at the point when that conversation needed to be had. So how you find yourself being disappointed that you weren't asked to be a part of a conversation that you wanted no parts of to begin with is exactly as Kevin said, it's narcissistic. You feel like you missed an opportunity for airtime to voice some bullshit that nobody wanted to hear. What have you contributed to the undefeated outside of whining about them not inviting you? Have you written any pieces for the undefeated? Have you
No,
gone over and had conversations with those folks from the undefeated to sit
not.
down and be open with that dialogue? You haven't done that. So why you're expecting someone to give you something that you didn't earn sounds a little white privilegey to me. And
Same
on
vibe.
that, to loop
Yeah.
in what Sean was talking about. So I went to school in Indiana, pretty familiar with the Indianapolis area. Sage Steele is from Carmel, Indiana. If you don't know anything about Carmel, Indiana, look it
No.
up. It is one of the richest places in the country per capita. Um, Net values, net worth, very high. It's one of the richest places in the world for the small area that it is. This is where Sage Steele grew up. There are not many black people there. She grew up around a lot of affluent white people. There's some affluent white people that break the mold and are more liberal than others, but for the most part, we're talking Indiana, we're talking affluence, we're talking conservative, right? Red state. It is what it is. I hate to categorize and stereotype people, but we're
Oh,
speaking
no, you
generally.
can.
That's just what it is, right? So she already grew up disconnected from the black people in Indianapolis. And if you don't know anything about Indianapolis, Indianapolis is a black city. The Circle City Classic, HBCUs come there and play. Naptown is black. Don't make any mistake about that. But Carmel separated from Indianapolis. You can live your whole life in Carmel and hang around in the Noblesville, Fishers area and not have to go anywhere in Marion County, which is where Indianapolis is seated. So she already had that disconnect of, oh, you're from Carmel, you a rich snooty. Think T.I. and Nunu in ATL. That's basically the dichotomy of Sage Steele is Nunu, and every other black person is Clifford.
Right.
Rashad.
So when she tells you she experienced racism more from black people, you kind of have to take that into context. What she's talking about, where she gets hate, she's a fair complexion. We have issues within our own community that we have to address. We have to be better treating one another with more love. But to label that as racism when it's just apparent bullying, like we got to stop doing this, where this reverse racism becomes a weapon that we create for other outside parties to use against us. If you didn't like your experience with black people, say that. You grew up disconnected from the black people in your area. Your experiences are different. You don't relate to them as much as you relate to the affluence in Carmel. So just leave that as that. But to say black people treated you unfairly because of this or that shit, I'll tell Sean to stop acting light skinned in a minute. I love my brother, but that's just how we treat each other in the community. It is what it is. So,
Right.
yeah, Sage still can get out of here. I like Carrie Champion better, anyways.
Her fine ass.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. She has no voice in the conversation. We don't want to have to hear what you say. Go holler at Candace Owens or the Hodge twins or, you know, the sheriff from Milwaukee or wherever he was from. That's who you need to be appealing to. We not with that shit over here.
Yeah, and you could
Is
tell she
that
was disconnected. I'm sorry, like you can tell she was disconnected with black people because she be letting white people touch her hair on TV, and that shit crazy to me. I never seen shit like that before.
That is true. You're correct.
That's unbelievable. I was like, like wow. That's
See,
how I
it's
knew
like
something.
That was us. You ain't
I've
black.
never looked up her background, and I got the vibe like listen to what I said and then listen to Patrick Luke. Like it you can tell like that's very little privileged, liberal talking in the black community. You need to tone it down a notch or two.
the two things that kill me
No,
is
she needs to shut
when
up
she's
forever.
doing the interview, she's like whoever's doing the interview her, categories her as black. She be like, no, she would correct them like I'm biracial. I have a white mother. I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's the one.
hey, yeah, I get it. I get you want to be called biracial, you want to recognize your mother and all that, but that ain't how the world work, man.
Right, one
You
drop
you
rule.
black, you black.
Black. When you got that one
Oh, and
drop,
Brad,
that.
And then the other thing is she's
Brad, let me
like,
ask you a question.
yeah,
When it comes to producers, because she also not only said she was excluded, she tried to throw two black colleagues under the bus while she did it. Let me ask you this question, Brad. You've been in the industry. Dre, maybe you can chime in. The talent, the on-air talent doesn't make the decisions about who's on the platform solely by themselves, right? There's a group of people who make that ultimate decision.
exactly. Producers
Correct?
that have little say of who's in the show or whatnot. Like I might want to bring a guest in or whatnot, but as far as the talent is concerned, they got a contract. They're there, or they put the special together. Hey, we want this person to host and this person to host. You might have a little say in who the guest is, but other than that, yeah, it's a whole host of people who make that whole decision.
So even in her anger, she was misguided with who she was directing it to.
She just wanted to cry, man. That's how it goes.
Sounds like a Karen to me.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then the last thing is you want to be included in this race conversation, but you say you've been called monkey and the N word and all that, but you get on stage and say the worst racism you've ever dealt with is from black people. What make you think they're gonna include you in this race conversation? I don't. This is not the platform to have different opinions.
Yeah, say that. All right, Brad. Let's move on. I think this is our last one.
Our last one, yes. Mike Tyson is getting back in the ring with Roy Jones Jr. 54 versus 51-year-old. Who do you guys have?
Music, Iron, Mike.
I have sadness because I don't want this shit to fucking happen. Like, look, I'm very happy that Mike Tyson's in a good place. I'm happy that he's back in shape and he's back in the good graces of people. That should be enough. I don't want Tyson taking any more shots to the head, man. Like, he's already, like he's fried. Like, he's 54. Like, I don't know what he's trying to prove. Like, I wish that he would just kind of enjoy his resurgence and not do this. Uh, I'm just sad. I have immense sadness. I don't want anyone to fight. I don't want Roy Jones Jr. fight. Have you seen his last couple of fights? Roy Jones? Like he
No.
got fucked up. like
Good shape.
yeah, but like boxing's a different animal. That's not just something like you jog for a few months and like you back in it. That's something you gotta be in it. Otherwise, you're gonna be like Hopkins, like getting literally hit out the damn ring. So it shit makes me sad and like we're all thirsty for entertainment. Like one more time for Iron Mike, but like I think the shit's whack, and I want him to be able to enjoy his older age and be in great shape without having to be a spectacle for people. Like I think that's just kind of whack. Drea?
Unfortunately, I don't really watch, so I don't want to lie.
Just say Mike Tyson.
All I know is Mike Tyson.
Right? Iron Mike.
Not even gonna lie.
Tyson. I think Tyson can still go.
Oh,
That man's training. He's getting in the wrestling ring. He's battling Chris Jericho and everybody else. Tyson's gonna put it down.
All right, so I'll go ahead and say, I am a Tyson fan more than I was a Roy fan. No disrespect to him or anything like that. I know a lot of people are going to be pulling for Tyson just for who he is, and I in the boxing world, like that's who I grew up watching. So with that said, I kind of I was torn. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with a little bit of what everybody said so far. Like I was a little kind of taken back that like his training videos weren't just training videos for him. You're actually preparing for a fight. I did watch his interview with Max, and I get it because in their world that they live in, that's something that like you see that all the time actually in their world. I mean, I'm not gonna be like make it seem like I'm immersed in boxing, but just all the greats come back around this like 55 to 60 range where they're like, I still got one or two more in me. Like they don't feel like old men, you know what I'm saying? And I get it, it's a different beast. It's not like they're about to go box and like punch each other. I don't think this is something like, hey, we need to do this for money, like I don't think anybody's in any type of financial trouble where they're trying to fight to benefit from that. I mean, it's exhibition. I think it's going to be 8 rounds.
I'm just sad that he feels like he needs it. I thought he would transition.
I feel you.
You know what I mean,
I understand what he was saying though, or I guess I feel like I understand what he was trying to convey when he said it, because I do get it. Like they're not like, not that we're mediocre men. That's not what I'm saying. But like they're not your average everyday just I'm a dude in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what they did for a little while. And he tried to, I guess, explain it as this was basically, he was saying he was watching the Jerry Rice special, and how at Jerry Rice's age, if you look at him perform, his performance level is still boom, like up there. Like I may not be in it, but I can still put on a show, I guess, is kind of how he basically kind of explained it. And I understood that part, because like I said, when you look at the training videos, like he looked like he ready, he looked like he's thick, he's solid, if not that he was an old man, you wouldn't realize you were watching an old man. Now, whether that should be a reason to get into the ring, I don't know. I probably would not do that, but
I'd never fight that motherfucker. I ain't saying all that. It's just 54.
It depends on the money. I mean, I know I'd be getting knocked out, but how much money are we talking to get into the ring?
Let's say
Doesn't matter. They about to set a pay-per-view record. I
You think
guarantee
so?
it.
Blacks will support. They gonna get our money. I'm gonna watch it. Blacks and whites. I shouldn't just say black, but I feel like they're gonna get support. Anyway, what's your number? I like to play this game. This is one of my favorite games to play. How much what am I getting to get into the ring?
I want to get past input first before we go this goofy route to end the show.
Okay, word.
Pat?
So I'm glad y'all saved me to the end because, and these ain't my words, these is Roy Jones Jr.'s words. Y'all must have forgot.
Oh, God.
Y'all must have forgot who Roy Jones is, man. Everybody's hyped up in the glamour of Mike Tyson. You seen a little video with his shirt off, hitting bags real hard, and that's cool. That's cool. Roy Jones Jr. was just fighting 2 years ago successfully. Everyone's talking about these videos of Roy getting knocked out. Roy got knocked out 5 years ago, and then he won his last 4 fights. Let's go back to Mike's last 2 fights.
Oh, God. Can we not?
Well, let's talk about it because it was 15 years ago, not 2, 15 years ago. The last time we saw Mike trying to do anything competitive with boxing, he was getting knocked out in the 4th round, and then his last fight, he threw in the towel in the 6th round. He was unable to knock nobody's out from 2003 to 2005. What makes y'all think that 15 years of separation has regained some mysterious knockout power that he didn't have in the 2000s? Let's even go back to the 90s.
Lack of
Once
cocaine.
Buster Douglas hit him and all the legal stuff happened, Mike was a shell of himself. And now his mind is in a clear space, and I get that. I'm not riding against Mike. I love Mike Tyson. But Roy Jones Jr. is no scrub. He's the only boxer in the history of the sport to start out as a junior middleweight, win a title there, go through 3 other weight classes winning titles, and also win the heavyweight title. And in 2003, Roy and Mike had a chance to fight. Roy was the draw. Roy was in his prime. Roy wanted more money than they were willing to give him. And if that fight had occurred in 2003, Roy Jones Jr. is watching Mike Tyson. And we're not even having a discussion about this. Because bums watched Mike Tyson from 2003 to 2005. So, basically, and I sound like I'm hating on Mike, and that's not my intention because Mike is one of my favorite boxers as well. But Roy is my favorite boxer, and y'all are really disrespecting Roy. Y'all are really disrespecting Roy's speed that you think he lost. If you think Roy lost his speed, what you think Mike lost? Y'all see these videos and they look good. Deontay Wilder looked good hitting on bags, and then Tyson Fury got in there and put them bangs on him. Right? So all these training videos,
Can we not be reminded of that? That was the worst fight history month ever. God damn, that was some whack ass shit.
What I expect to happen is the first 2 rounds to be interesting from Mike's side. Mike's gonna try and come out and get him, because if Mike doesn't get him in the first 2 rounds, Roy is washing him the rest of the way. Mike's stamina needs to be on point, because I don't care how old they are. Mike is 54, Roy is 51. Roy will always be faster than Mike. Roy's faster than Mike. So y'all must have forgot, man. Don't underestimate Roy Jones Jr. All this.
Mike Joe ain't say Mike Tyson had to lean back.
Mike is not. Listen, I just started a new financial class with my girl, so I'm not making any bets because that would destroy my relationship. So I'm not putting no money out there. But what I will say is, I'm not expecting any knockouts in this fight. I do want to see the fight because I wanted to see the fight in 2003 when it was supposed to happen. I don't think that this is for anything other than these are what these men did their entire lives for the most part. Roy longer than Mike, but this is what they know. This is what they do, and they just want to continue to showcase what they worked their entire life to do. I have no qualms with that. I have a qualm with Nate Robinson and Logan Paul fighting underneath them because it cheapens the experience.
Right? Y'all can nobody else.
My money's on Nate. Nate don't quit.
Yeah, like
Nate don't quit.
I don't mind talking about that one. That doesn't make me sad at all. Logan Paul gonna get his head knocked off, dog. Ooh, I can't wait for that shit.
Yeah,
but anyway,
he could have did something better than that. But I want to see it. If I was a betting man, I would put money on Roy. If Mike's gonna win, he's gonna have to do it in the first 3 rounds, the first 1 to 3 rounds. Because if it goes any longer than that, I see old man kicking both of their ass stamina wise. But I just see Roy having more recently been successful at boxing, still having a little bit more than what Mike can give right now. So
I can see that.
that's just where I'm at with it. I love both of them, but y'all must have forgot.
All right, enough of that shit. So Kev, what's the smallest amount you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for? I say the smallest amount I would.
What's the smallest
like,
amount I would get in the ring with Tyson for?
Yeah. Just 3 minutes.
I would jump in the ring with Tyson for. I would jump in the ring with Tyson.
Prime Mike Tyson, not
it'd have to be 7 figures.
I like the timing. 3 minutes too. That's a good time. Yeah. We're not asking for
3 minutes.
No, he just said prime Mike Tyson. No, thank you.
Oh, prime Mike Tyson?
Yeah, prime, nigga. Not
now. In the 90s,
Thank you. Yes. No, thank you.
Prime, like 90s Mike, like
1991, my man.
Woo!
Buster.
I'm not doing it.
I think
I'm not.
I think I'd do it for like 600,000. Because look, I'm not gonna feel the punch. I'm not gonna see it or feel it. And like I've been beat up for free before. I've been jumped before. Look, I've got my ass kicked for free before. I've been like someone hit me in my throat for free. Like if someone knocks me out and I just end up in the hospital, like it normally happens like with no money. I get medical bills, so I get 600 G's to get my ass kicked. Sure, whatever. Like I've had my mentions fucked up.
That's true.
It's not. Whatever families get, whatever families get from cities after police officers accidentally kill their family members, I need triple that. I need triple.
That's the fun part of the game, though, right? I'm looking for the best rate, right? I'm not gonna. If the picking was out of this group of 5, right? Who's got the best price to get knocked out in the ring? 3 minutes. We've heard 600. I can't pay you $1 million if he's gonna do it for 6. Anybody?
I'm not getting in the ring with Mike Tyson.
You can take me out the running. I'm not getting in.
Anybody understand?
I'm not getting in the ring with 95 and before.
Dre, you got a price?
I'm not doing it because he's either gonna beat you, he's gonna rape you, or he's gonna bite your ear off.
Right? That is true.
But what if I run?
If I have to beat 6, it's definitely got to be like. I mean, like 354 plus. I mean, no less than that. I mean, your medical bills are going to be about 30% of that. You know, so like you still come off. I may just get to the face and then fall down. I don't know if I would. That would be the knockout. I don't know if I try to hang in there to 91 Mike. Now, if it's today's Mike, I would probably lower my price even. You know, not saying that he still couldn't knock out today, but just
I still need a meal for today's Mike.
Yeah, at least I'll be able to run. Like you couldn't outrun Mike in 91. Like you just gotta take what's coming to you. And I think that's the scary shit. Like at least 54-year-old Mike, like you could run around the ring a little bit. You can like, disqualify yourself. Like back in 91, you couldn't even do none of that. You could run.
You might even take it easy on you. You like, man, why y'all put me in the ring with this dude? I ain't want to hurt him.
You saw a lot of faces like that back in those days, though. Like, dang, I don't want to fight this guy.
Don't blame him either. And they got paid handsomely to get their ass kicked too. That's the wild part. And,
not the money we talking.
That's fair. But yeah, but 6, like that's the bare minimum. I mean, I would love to raise that price up, but 6 to get my ass kicked and take a couple of days of punishment in my mentions, whatever. I've done worse for free. It's fine. So yeah, anybody got last parting shots before we head home? Yeah.
I promised Pat a parting shot because I mentioned the Boston Red Sox. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
So this week, Yeah, yeah. So last podcast and this podcast, I've been wearing some attire. A good friend of mine, we grew up together. Mike Morgan, Paul Leon is the clothing line. Got my little goat right here, feeling real goatish today. Um, he's an entrepreneur. Everything is black right now. Support black businesses. The website's very simple. It's www.paul, like the regular name, Paul, Leon, Leon.com. The material's great, reasonably priced. They're not beating you over the head. It's just two young black brothers trying to make a difference in their lives and their families' lives, and I support that 100%. So you'll be seeing more of me wearing different affiliates, and I'll do my best to provide the links and everything so everyone can cop and support and do their part to uplift the community.
Cool. That sounds
Red
great.
Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox.
Oh, that's what you wanted from me. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Hey, Boston, what's going on, Boston? What's going on, Boston? Hey, guess what?
Took a week off.
Black Lives Matter at Finley Park now, and you guys can't do anything about it. You can steal your clam chowder everywhere. You can go to the harbor and scream about it all you want. But Black Lives Matter is not a political stance. It is a social justice declaration stating that Black lives have mattered less. And now it's time for you to recognize that they matter equally. Not more, not first, but matter. Black Lives Matter is not in any opposition to anyone else's lives. It is not going to take anything from you. It is not a equal employment opportunity measure. It is none of that. It is just simply black people rallying around the disappointing crisis that we have in this country about black individuals being murdered and no accountability being handed down to the law enforcement agencies that are scheduled to protect us, that we actually pay taxes to protect us. And if we can't get that protection and we can't get you all to side with that, then defund whatever is not protecting us. It means exactly what it says. You've been defunding teachers for years and making sure that they understand that no matter what they say, you still want their children. You still want your children educated by them. So if you haven't listened to us over the last many years, it didn't even just start in 2013. Black Lives Matter before then. The movement was created after Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown. But if you didn't believe it before, believe it now. Finley Park, Black Lives Matter. The comment sections on any of the posts you see online or any news articles is absolutely what you'd expect Boston to look like. Bill Simmons is having a field day right now. Every Patriots fan is losing their mind right now as Cam shows up in the Boston last night as well. They're all collectively about to have their heads explode because Finley Park is black and the starting quarterback for the Patriots is black. And I am enjoying every single last moment of it.
Fantastic. I agree.
Andrea, do you have anything to promote?
Anything to push?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, it was an absolute joy having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Kevin, anything before we roll out?
Nah, man, just keep your fellow man in your thoughts. I think I've said this before, but if I haven't recently, to our counterparts that aren't trying to conform and be safe, sanitize, wear masks, look out for their fellow man. You're not advancing any struggles. You're not Martin Luther King Jr. or anything like that by not wearing a mask. So wear it, protect your fellow man just because it's something you can do to help protect somebody. That's it for me.
All right, Brad. Before we get up out of here, what you got?
I got nothing to promote. Just get ready for this birthday weekend. That's about it.
Hey, that's something to promote. Patrick.
Happy birthday to Sean. It's coming up. Brad,
Early birthday.
We've been
Birthday,
sharing
Sean.
birthdays for over 20 plus years, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
Enjoy your Sunday. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but it's gonna involve a little bit of this right here.
Hey.
That's it. Sean, enjoy. Brad, enjoy. We'll talk later.
All right, man. And that's it for us shooting the shit. Thank you guys for joining us. That's